Okay, hey guys, welcome to the live. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I always kind of get lost in looking at the, intro as it's going on, and then I'm like, oh right, gotta hit that button to put myself on screen. Anyways, as you guys can see, Aspen Connor's in the house, and Charmaine down there is in the house. Now, Charmaine got a new camera today, and look
As you guys
how.
can see,
Oh,
Sorry. I could okay. So my phone was streaming to my TV upstairs, and I could hear the music, and I was like, "Oh, how do I turn this off?" So I
oh.
figured it out. We're good. Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, but look how vibrant and bright Charmaine is now,
right.
and that mural behind you. No, give
And
us.
the Jason Momoa picture. Don't
Oh yeah,
forget.
and the Jason. Yeah, I know. Picture out of there. Now, just quickly, Charmaine, on that mural, where did that come from? You said you didn't paint it, so
No, the original owners of this house actually did a mural on almost every wall in the house, and
oh,
this one is actually Cape Breton. This is where they're
oh,
from.
nice.
So this is the view from one of the beaches in Cape Breton.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
my bedroom upstairs has the Little Mermaid, and my grandson's bedroom has Pokemon. And,
It's beautiful. Your mansion is gorgeous. Did
yeah,
the Shermans own it before you?
no, the Patches.
yeah. Um. So, anyways, let's see.
Canadian true crime reference.
What's that in there? Upcoming charges next week, including an attempted murder, extortion, coercion with force, battery on a protected person, referring to the judge and the officers who came to aid her. Yeah. Um. So that's the case we're going to be talking about tonight, guys. We're going to be talking about the judge, Mary Kay Holston, I believe her name is. Yeah, Mary Kay Holthus. No, Holthus. That's it. I had that name all in my head, but it's one of those tongue twister last names. Holthus. Um, Very disturbing case, to be honest. And so, right here in front of you, I'm going to play a video in just a few moments, and then after that, then we'll come back, and then we're going to play the court TV one as well. Um, every time I keep watching this and this, I think his name is Deobra.
Yeah, it's weird. It
Deobra
looks like a
Redden.
zebra, but
Yeah, no, it looks like Deborah, and
mhm,
it's like because at first I was like thinking Deborah, and I'm
mhm.
like, then I was like, who would name their kid Deobra? Because it's almost like putting Deborah with a
It
O in
doesn't,
it.
isn't it like DOE? So it's like Doebra or
No,
something.
DEO. Let me see.
DO.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
DEO. DEO. Um,
weird.
so I don't know. It's just I've never seen that name before. It's a very strange
Yeah.
name to see that
I,
because
I never need to see it again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just I mean, can't help it. It's just a very disturbing case to watch that. Um, Anyways, so family is saying,
Yeah.
hey Mustang, hey Anne,
W-
hey Shelly.
Really quickly before we go into it too deep, you know, I would be remiss to. I don't want to talk about Delphi, but um, part of I think what like struck me with that video is when and I'm not saying I'm not passing judgment on her actions or people's dislike of her, but there's been so much vitriol for Judge Gull in the Delphi case that when I see something like this happen in a courtroom,
yeah,
and then I hear some of the things that people accuse Judge Gull of, and the way that they speak about her with such disdain, the idea of something like this happening in a high profile court case, um, it definitely raises the flag that something like that is possible, and that
Absolutely.
I just can't imagine that someone would take that level of physical violence that this person did.
but
Mhm.
don't you find that in this day and age now that like honestly, the world is turning into just a wild freak show to me. Watching all these things happen at like the attacks on police officers, I get it that there's bad apples in every part of society and stuff like that, but just the disrespect nowadays for police officers holding cameras in front of their faces, like to antagonize on purpose. It's one thing
Hmm.
to sit there and record because you're considering yourself as an independent reporter. And it's another thing to sit there and try to slice and dice a video, to make it look like, are you threatening me, officer? Officer, like,
Yeah.
and they talk in that stupid ass tone. That's like, are you saying that you're threatening me, officer? Little old me who's just trying to sit there and steal something from the Walmart place? Are you,
Mhm.
like it just, and then, but anyways, and so to watch this too on judges, as well. It's just like there's no freaking respect for authority anymore to me, it seems like.
There's to piggyback on what Anne was saying earlier, because part of one of the videos that we're going to watch, I think, explains some of his mental health struggles recently. Um, all of these wild and crazy things usually revert back to some kind of mental health illness,
Mm,
and it just paints a
anger.
picture of the state of the mental health system in both of our countries,
Mhm.
right? Like there's so much I can say about Canada and NCR and accountability,
Right. Well,
but I
and
mean,
just
in the
because,
States,
sorry.
as far as I know, the last person to serve his entire sentence after being found not guilty by reason of insanity and sentenced to a mental institution to serve his entire sentence until the day he died was Ed Gein, I believe, like high profile case, right? Everybody else seems to get medicated and get better and eventually be released back into society, which I don't think is right either, you know? But it's just a deeper issue with mental health, I think.
Right. But I think it's also important to remember that, just because you or I might have, you know, God willing, the mental stability to criticize the actions of an authority figure,
Hmm.
um, and call into question some of the actions or decisions that that person has made. You know, but then when you go on a public platform and you use, um, you know inflammatory language, to talk about that person, you don't know that the audience that you're speaking to, that they are all of the mental, that they are all
Yeah.
of have the mental ability to also differentiate the, that you can disagree with someone, an authority figure, and not take that to a physical level.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, so let's get into it. We're gonna play this part of the video, first of all, and this one I think it's about 8 minutes, I think something like that. But anyways, we'll watch this, guys, and I'm going to hit play. Hold on, let me put out my copyright disclaimer. It's for news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, and all that stuff on there. Viewer discretion. I did have the banner up on there. Um, so obviously, if you're squeamish, whatever, then I advise you, all 11 of you, um, to consider it if you're squeamish about watching this video with regards to the judge being attacked. So, anyways, let me just play that out.
Deobra Redden was scheduled to be in court Thursday morning. He's accused of attacking a presiding judge inside her own courtroom, but he refused to show up to court. Redden was arrested on battery charges in the suspected attack of a Judge Mary Kay Holthus Wednesday while she was on the bench. In this courtroom video, you see Redden leap over the judge's bench, lunge towards Judge Holthus, and tackle her to the ground. The video shows Redden punching someone beneath him, and he is heard cursing while court marshals and staff try to stop him. Despite the 30-year-old not showing up to court Thursday, a Clark County prosecutor argued the suspect should be held without bond, but Judge Lauren Diefenbach disagreed. The judge didn't feel comfortable making changes without Redden present. She decided to leave Redden eligible for release with a bail set at $54,000. In a press conference after the hearing, Clark County District Attorney Steve Olson said the judge made the wrong call.
I'm disappointed. We asked for a no bail setting. We asked that he be detained because we strongly believe that he's a danger to the community. The world has seen what happened yesterday and this person's behavior in court, and I've almost seen nothing else like this.
When asked how Judge Holthus is doing after the attack, the district attorney says he's thankful she was not severely injured.
You have a lot of microphones up here. Everything working?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to give a little statement and then I can take a few questions. First of all, just to let everyone know about the incident, at a sentencing hearing for Mr. Redden on January 4th. January 4th? It was January 3rd yesterday. Today's the 4th. Sentencing hearing on January 3rd on the charge of attempt battery with substantial bodily harm. Mr. Redden attacked Judge Mary Kay Holthus. Judge Holthus was injured and received medical attention and has been released. She remains sore and stiff, but thankful it was not more severe. Her marshal was transported to the hospital, treated for a head injury and released. His injuries are still being treated. His name is Shane Brandon. The law clerk, Michael Lasso, received medical attention and was released. He received hand abrasions. We commend the heroic acts of Judge Holthus' staff, law enforcement, and all others who subdued the defendant. Judge Holthus wanted me to convey a statement. She wanted me to thank all of the well-wishers and others who have expressed concern for her and her staff. She is extremely grateful for those who took brave action during the attack. I just want to make sure that the public is aware that the courthouse is a safe place to be. This was a very unique situation, and we're doing what we can to continue to maintain the integrity of the court and the safety that we have here. I'll take a few questions if you have them. Yes?
How's everyone doing emotionally after this? Obviously very traumatic for everyone involved.
As far as the emotional resilience, we do have a wellness program here at the court that Judge Alf has been the head of for the past 18 months. We are already in the process. We've authorized crisis services for staff and for the judge if the need arises. We have a traumatologist that we've been in contact with. So that's being provided if they so desire.
Judge, have you identified any changes to security measures for defendants who are out of custody and appearing in court?
So this is a very unique situation that, as far as I know, has never happened before with somebody supermaning over a judicial bench. Since yesterday, we met with our security contractor to bring in additional security personnel to support courtroom coverage. We've notified Clark County management that there's a need for additional marshal positions in our high-risk calendars. We're already working with Clark County Real Property Management to evaluate courtrooms and identify if there are any necessary improvements. So we're already on top of doing everything we can to make this as safe as possible for everyone. Yes?
You said that you were looking at hiring more marshals. Is there a shortage of marshals right now?
There's always a shortage of marshals. We think that there could always be an increased security presence that would be better for the courthouse.
How many marshals are in a court?
Generally, we have one marshal in a courtroom. Sometimes there are two, sometimes there are more, but generally there's one.
To what extent do the marshals across the various judicial districts coordinate and collaborate, technique, support, training, etc.?
I don't know that I can answer that in detail, but I know that they do coordinate and collaborate with the other marshals. We have one marshal division, and they're all trained similarly. They have the same support network and same supervisory network. I know we transfer people between the family courthouse and our courthouse when the need arises. So there's coordination.
Thank you, Judge.
So if there was an increase in marshals in the courtroom, do you think this could have been prevented?
I don't know what could have prevented this. I mean, I think that we are looking at every opportunity we can to make things better. I don't know if an additional marshal could have prevented it or not, but if we could get additional marshals in the courtroom, we think that would always be better for the court, for the staff we have here, and for the public.
Two questions. How many more marshals are you looking to add in each courtroom?
I don't know that there's a definitive number for that. We would like to have a second marshal be available, at least for criminal calendars. That's part of the reason that we've met with our security contractor. so that we can try to put a second person in the courtrooms as often as we can.
And Judge Holthus has been checked out. She's out. When do you expect her to be back at work?
She was back at work today.
Good for her.
So do we know how tall this individual was?
I've seen the same video that you guys have. That's all I know. I don't have any description of it. Sorry.
In terms of those who did jump into action, it was really, heroic to see, especially the clerk. I mean, maybe you could speak a little bit on that, on those who did, jump into action to protect the judge specifically.
Well, I think this Michael Lasso, her law clerk, was probably the primary person that pulled the defendant off of her and probably kept her from having more severe injuries. So we commend him for that, his heroic actions.
Asking this because in the video that we've all seen, it's kind of hard to make out, but was the marshal standing close enough to the defendant, or was he following protocol as to where he was standing in the courtroom?
I believe that the marshal was right behind the defendant, probably getting ready to put handcuffs on him and remand him, and this individual just, he moved too quick, and I think the marshal was right behind him, just couldn't get to him.
A lot of people have talked about his criminal history. Do you think that he should have already been behind bars and maybe not have gotten so many passes?
That's not really a question that I feel comfortable answering. As far as I know, I was never one of the judges that was involved in the sentencing of the prior case. I don't have any comment on that.
So what exactly is he going to be charged with now?
Let me see if I have that. His new charges, he's going to be being charged with battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, two other counts of battery on a protected person, and one count of simple battery. My understanding is because there are 4 individuals that were involved.
Question. So what are the maximum, sentencing for those charges? And from our understanding, he was asking for probation, and that was being denied. Do we know what she was about to sentence him to before he attacked the judge?
So Judge Holthus is going to go forward with the sentencing hearing on, I believe it's the 8th at 9:30. Now, I don't know exactly what the sentence that she planned on handing down was, but I anticipate that it'll be the same as what she gives on the 8th.
So she will be handling that case again?
She'll handle the sentencing.
I have to access. So the judge made a comment right before the strike about something to the fact that he's going to be receiving something different now. Was that appropriate? Is that appropriate for her to say?
I think every judge has their own discretion how they, what they say to an individual in court. I think that what she was saying, I think they were asking for probation, and she was saying that something different was appropriate in this case.
Oh, we'll stop that right there because that was the end of that particular part of the video, and then we'll go into Go ahead, Kimmy.
I'd like to take a little bit of time to address what the quote is by this judge. I think it's time that you get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history.
Mm-hmm.
This whole I just can't thing, I say it all the time, and I'm quite sure that's exactly why I'm not a judge. I don't think judges should be using that reasoning and making their rulings. I just can't. I just can't with that.
I did laugh when I saw that. I just can't. It's like,
I mean, fair enough, but you might want to extrapolate on that a little bit.
Right.
You know.
Well, and had she been given the chance to, she might have. No, but I mean, I think. Can you imagine the level of nonsense these judges see every day?
No,
and I'm sure it doesn't make it right, but I'm sure that when you hit your nonsense wall, you hit your nonsense wall.
Absolutely.
And if that was the 15th person she saw that day that had given her some ridiculous narrative,
mm-hmm.
I can see where she would just say, I can't.
Just can't. And then reading his history, and apparently
maybe she was hangry.
And he was just in and out of mental health court, I think 2 or 3 times, in the days leading up to this. So, I mean, I get it. I just can't either, but just saying as a judge.
Right. I mean, when I watched the Daryl Brooks trial, I felt like that was the look the judge had on her face the entire time.
Absolutely.
She didn't.
Absolutely.
She didn't say it. I mean, she did a few times, but most of the times, she didn't say anything. But you could tell she
Yeah.
had that look on her face all the time.
And he was talking a lot, and I mean, really, he deserved that because, yeah, he was terrible. He was terrible. Didn't they actually they made him a special room or something? I think Court TV
They
actually
moved him. They moved him to a
Yeah.
different room,
yeah.
and he would like raise his hand.
Yeah.
But
Oh, man.
I'm like, with this case, like the first thing I thought, knowing nothing else about it, was the lack of response to anyone getting to that judge.
Yeah.
I felt like was alarming because I felt like there should have been someone close enough to that judge to have like at least helped assist her before they did.
Well, even him like jumping over, it seemed almost in slow motion, like we could see it, but being there in the moment, it would probably be shocking. But at the same time, you're totally right. Somebody should have been closer, and that law clerk, not even an officer of the court, a law clerk, pummeled the guy.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say though that I think that in that particular moment, because it was actually quite fast, like when you watch the start of the video, like it was like poof, and I think that probably like most people's reaction, you're kind of sitting there going, "What the fuck?" and then you react.
Yeah.
You know? Because
but the second he breached that came around that table, I mean, I would have thought someone would have been right on him, because not only did he jump over like the desk or whatever, but I mean, he had her in the second or third position of going on her before someone actually got in there. I am glad that they no one used more force than they did to get him off of her, but I'm surprised it took them as long as it did, and they addressed that in that statement.
And how many people it took to subdue him was insane. But people who are having a mental health break and delusional or schizophrenic or even bipolar, those people are a lot harder to subdue than anybody with any sort of, I guess, common sense, because then compassion kicks in. I can't even imagine this poor woman.
It's not something you see every day, that's for sure.
And then just to have and then to have it just kind of immortalized online, just even another hit. And then people on, I don't know if either of you have seen there are several TikToks of people like basically making fun of it with like doing like practice, like they're doing like videos of him practicing his jumping or whatever, and they shows people like jumping over a couch, jumping over a kitchen table, jumping over an ironing board.
It's
to like
funny.
the Rocky theme song, and you're like,
it's because it's one of those things that, as shocking and disturbing as that is, it to me sometimes I get it. You see the lighter side of it by making fun of it, in a sense, even though it's not funny. But when you happen to see those videos, you can't help but chuckle a little, because there's always going to be those ones that that are
it's always too soon. It's always too soon, but they're still giggle worthy, and I feel bad for laughing, but funny is funny. I can't help it.
Well, yeah, and I think we're all, like, a lot of us are guilty, right? It's like, I don't want to see this, but here I'm gonna keep watching it anyway and stuff.
It's like the people that made TikToks saying, when you didn't get anything for Christmas, but then you remembered what you posted online in June, it just like the submersible, and the millionaires that were on board.
Oh man, I felt like the worst human ever, because every one of those memes just made me laugh, like my belly laugh. It was,
and of course, this judge did not deserve what happened.
No,
I'm not.
no.
This was, this was someone just doing their job, and she got attacked. But
I just think it's really, to me, disgusting the way those society has gone. Like, you would never have seen this stuff happen before like we do now. Like, honestly, for me personally, it depends what generation you're from, and depends what you think of it yourself, your own opinions. But
Right.
for me, watching how society is now is absolute. I can't stand it. I literally cannot stand it.
Look at Savannah Soto. Look at the Savannah Soto, her brother's trial, where the family attacked the guy that was on trial for killing her brother.
Yeah.
Remember? They all jumped the guy.
I do.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that was back in October when because remember her brother was killed the year before.
Yeah.
And the trial was going on in October of 2023, and Savannah's brother and brother-in-law family members attacked the guy that was on trial for killing her brother.
Oh, I
mean, it was a huge brawl.
I clearly remember the days where there was actually a deputy either right in front of the bench or just off to the side of it, like an armed guard.
I bet there is in that woman's court
Well,
right now.
I was gonna say let's go to let's watch the court TV one now, and then we'll come back and talk about it. I think this is like 13 minutes long or whatever. Anyways, we'll play this.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one, so I'm anxious to see this one.
It's good. Yeah,
I've watched a part of it. I haven't watched it all because, again, I usually really do like to watch videos for the most part with the viewers and stuff like that.
Right. You sent me this one earlier today, Sunny, but I didn't.
Yeah. And I usually will watch the gist of it, and then I'll decide, okay, I'm going to show this one tonight. So Charmaine had sent me it, and I was like, oh, sweet. And it was like a couple minutes after it had been come out this morning or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, let's play this one, you guys, and then we'll be back. I guess I got to go to the actual thing on this one.
Mr. Almasi's here now. Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing. When we were last here, arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence when an incident occurred. An incident initiated by Mr. Redden preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is his sole purpose for today's hearing. Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday will be handled at a future date by a different court. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant actions. I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court as it existed the moment I walked in, from prior to anything happening. Nothing's been changed, indicating the sentence I intended to impose. So I'll agree with that for a moment. All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. How much benefit time served does he have?
0 days. He was on probation when he committed the offense and was revoked on probation to serve the jail time October 25th. That time it expired at about the time of the plea. So
0 days credit. Mr. Almasi, if that's different, let us know. We'll fix it.
I will.
The motion to quash mandatory is removed at this point. And for the record, I just reflexively wrote 0 days credit to the notes specifically what I just said. So that is an addition as of right now.
That's correct. The probation case number, just for the record, is C370775.
Thank you.
I want to welcome my guest for this hour, criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. And good for her, Josh, back up there doing her job as the judge. Thankfully, we know she was not seriously injured. She wanted to do this sentencing hearing. And so let me start with the fact she handled the sentencing. And I liked what she put on the record, Josh, because she said, I'd already made my decision. I was reading this sentence when this happened. So I think that protects there from being any appearance of impropriety or bias, because she's simply saying the sentence she'd already decided.
Yeah, total pro move. That's what we love about a great experienced judge, protecting the integrity of our system. And that's really what she was doing, because there would be a terrible result if attacking your judgment that the sentence she was going to give you or they were going to give you is going to get changed. No. He's going to get prosecuted for what happened during that plea, but you've got to keep the integrity of the punishment for what he was entering a plea on and being punished for that day nice and smooth and complete. You need to make it unassailable against attack, because he is supposed to be judged not on the behavior during the sentencing, but the behavior of that underlying case, which he was convicted of. So I totally support and am impressed by her Honor's actions to protect the legitimacy of our system. And I expect the next prosecution against Mr. Redden will be pretty aggressive. The system generally takes a dim view of attacking stakeholders, and that actually aggravates sentences in the vast majority of jurisdictions.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love your description of protecting the integrity of our system, because she just did by what she said on the record. Josh, do you remember in Atlanta, and it was some years ago, a horrible circumstance in which a defendant who was in court got hold of one of the deputies' guns? And I know that you know as well as I do, a judge was killed, a bailiff was shot. And then there's a major manhunt because he escaped. Fortunately, he was rearrested. But my point is, I think that our system is the best in the world, but people are people. Things can happen. And I think when we see a video like the one of him flying across at the judge, it reminds all of us, including me as a former judge, hey, you never know what's going to happen. You just always have to be on high alert.
As tragic as this attack was, you're totally right. This is one of those learning moments, and it's the necessary reminder that we can talk about this stuff. We can be relaxed when we go to court. I was just down in court on cases that are on TV today this morning. But we have to remember, these individuals are litigating for their life. And that's not just criminal, it's civil as well. And the unpredictability of these high intensity, high duress, high stress situations, you've got to watch yourself. And that's why, basically without any exception, criminal defense lawyers love our deputies, and most lawyers really do deeply appreciate the sacrifice and the service provided by these frontline court workers. Because I was in a holding cell when Brian Nichols, who I had also worked with, went on his rampage. And one of the deputies, the one that had a terrific brain injury afterwards, she was someone that I worked with every single day. And it is a good reminder that as much as we try to show people that this is a job and a career and profession of the highest ethical standards, there are these ugly, ragged edges of violence, of unpredictable fear, fright, and danger. And I really thank all the deputies and everyone else involved in our public justice system for protecting us, the stakeholders, because being a judge means you're going to have a lot of angry people at you. Being a prosecutor or a defense attorney or a plaintiff's attorney, lots of people are going to be angry at you all the time, and we need these court workers to protect us so that we can do our job keeping America functioning.
Yeah, so well said, Josh. And one of the things I think we also need to talk about is the fraught with danger includes because of mental health needs that individuals have, that defendants have. And again, someone said to me, is our whole system going to have to change because a judge was not protected in this instance? And I said, absolutely not. Courtrooms do have deputies that are amazing, bailiffs that are amazing, that protect everybody. I've never had an issue with that. It's the reality of as a human nature thing, I think we're trusting people, right? And you never expect that anyone's going to come flying over the bench like that. It's just unexpected. And it's something that now, okay, we'll be on higher alert. But Josh, let me ask you this, because we know that Redden, number one, diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. And number two, went through mental health court twice amid a string of violent crimes. So we know in this case, that's some of the underlying issue, Josh.
And that's the frightening part about this, is if you watch in the many minutes before this incident, it's a usual plea. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's going over paperwork, making sure that people understand what's going on. I was in a courtroom this morning with a dozen cases ready to go to trial, important trials where people are going to be acquitted or convicted. Jail and prison is on the table, and we're all very mature and professional. That changes when we've got so many individuals with mental health issues, and we are using our criminal justice system to address mental health as almost the solution. We've given up on our medical processes and our healthcare system to help people with mental illness. So often they find the only treatment they're going to get is, unfortunately, in conjunction with some sort of criminal charge or conviction. And that's what makes every day in court that existentially fearful experience. You never know when that totally normally acting, appearing, demeanor person is going to hear something where they snap. And that snap's not something they control. You can't hold them responsible for a mental health condition that they can't prevent, that they can't control, and where that loss of control and regulation ends up being violent. And there's not really a good solution other than we all have to be careful. And thanks to the deputies, we are.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks to the deputies. And it's just not predictable, right? You can't always predict human nature. One more piece of this I want to delve into, and that is, did you notice at the sentencing today, Josh, 7 deputies, I counted around him, and then thankfully, great director and mayor said, there's an 8th right back by the wall by the judge's bench. In addition to that, Josh, did you notice the orange or pink? I think they're probably orange, although it was hard to tell. Mitts on his hands. He had shackles. His face was covered. Let's watch. I want to keep it on this while we talk about it, just to observe the heightened precautions. He is he was getting a sentence on this charge. What do you think of the precautions taken and how he was brought in shackled, mitts, face covering?
I think it was unfortunately completely appropriate. And thankfully, our justice system has developed tools like spit masks, like those gloves, like different restraint system.
Oh, I think that, Josh. Oh, there you are. You'd frozen for a minute. I apologize.
Sorry. So I think it's really great we've developed these tools to allow presence in court, because 20, 30, 40 years ago, they would basically hog tie you and throw you in the back. And you couldn't participate meaningfully. So the treatment that Mr. Redden received, absolutely appropriate to ensure the safety and protection of all the court staff and members, and appropriate. Unfortunately, we see a lot of that behind the doors, behind the walls. There's a lot of very aggressive restraint possibilities that happen in penal institutions. Thankfully, they're not as cruel as they were during our ancestors' generations.
And it reminds me a little bit of Darrell Brooks during his trial, and that was the one involved in the parade, running his car through, convicted. And in that trial, the judge had to take creative solutions to ensure that he could meaningfully participate in his own defense, but yet because of his lack of ability to control himself or honor the decorum of the courtroom, he had to be put in a different court. And so, or a different room rather. You know, these are creative solutions sometimes we have to come up with. All right, Josh, you're staying with me. Always great. Yeah, go ahead. Any other thoughts?
Oh, I was going to say, and it's great to see courts develop these tools to ensure the Sixth Amendment is comported with. That's really, people go, why does he have to be there? Why do the judges bend over and create? It's constitutional right. Removing someone from their criminal due process, that goes against everything we hold sacred. And so it's really great we've developed these tools to allow judges to manage trials and provide those constitutional rights to people, even when they're refusing to cooperate.
Yep, absolutely. Great points all. All right.
And guys, all right, I'm just gonna put it back on that video. So anyways, what thoughts, Charmaine?
So many. Like it looks, from this standpoint, it looks like
just
sorry.
The reaction time wasn't great, but like you said, the law clerk did move as quickly as he could. He's seen it happening and he got up. He did what he could. I mean, as for the mental health stuff that Red Glasses there was talking about, I have so many opinions on that, and they're probably out to lunch. But just because I've dealt with people with mental health issues and I've seen this stuff happen in real time, and they still need to understand the consequences of their actions, and that is part of the encouragement to take their medication and stay medicated and get treatment so that it doesn't happen again. If it was a first-time thing and he didn't realize that he had a mental health issue, totally different. But he had been through mental health court twice, they said here. His sister said that he was diagnosed schizophrenic and bipolar. That to me says that he was medicated at some point. There has to be consequences. If not for these actions, then for not taking your medication is needed.
Mm-hmm. And I agree. Do you think, though, that that in a sense, maybe into the future, like he should have been handcuffed? Because
absolutely,
and it's like that's what like that to me. That's like that simple solution. He could have still jumped, but he couldn't really do much.
And we keep going back to Delphi, but I'm going to point you to Richard Allen in comparison to Brian Kohlberger. Right? Brian Kohlberger goes into court dressed like this man was, in street clothes, no handcuffs. He is not a defendant. Richard Allen is cuffed and chained like he's some kind of Hannibal Lecter or something.
Right.
I mean, unless they're on trial in front of a jury, I think that they're detained. They're detained. You know what I mean? They need to be detained.
Right. But we don't know that Richard Allen doesn't have the option to be put in street clothing for that. We just and that would be a good question for someone to ask someone like Era, if someone had a direct line like Bob would to her. I'd be interested to know if Richard Allen was given the option to wear street clothing.
Well, I do know that Ann Taylor had to apply to the court to allow Brian Kohlberger to.
And I'm just not sure with Indiana how they handle that.
For sure. But clearly, I mean, look at the spit mask and everything today.
All those things on his hands made me laugh so hard. Yeah, I felt like it was like cartoony almost.
Yeah,
I was like,
actions have consequences.
That's right. Absolutely. Look at Taylor Shabusiness. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
she attacked her lawyer. This was months before. Yeah. But then because of her verbal and just hand gestures during her trial, when she was brought in, she obviously was spitting and stuff on guards and whatnot. That she had the full face spit mask on, and I mean,
another piece of shit. Right. That one right there.
Oh my gosh, that one. I don't
but
think
then,
I'll ever
like Lori Vallow, she got to do her, hair and makeup for every.
I know. It's kind of absurd, but the different cases and how, like you said, I don't care. Brian Kohlberger, just walks in all decked out in his freaking suit, and Richard Allen is in his orange jumpy and handcuffs and whatever.
But but it's important. It's important to to understand that each state has different laws. So like I said, we can't say that Richard Allen doesn't have the ability to wear street clothing. We just know he hasn't. So I don't know what Indiana's laws are regarding that. I don't claim to know anything about that. So
I'm going to weigh on the fact that when Garrett Kurtz went into whatever. I don't think any of them were wearing
You think
street
he has a
clothing.
suit?
Huh?
Do you think Garrett Kurtz has a suit?
He owns a suit?
Well, that's just it. I honestly, if I was to guess without knowing, I would think that Indiana, you're not allowed to be in your street garb in Indiana state, considering the cases we watch typically are always ones where they're in their, orange jumpies.
And from what I understand, it makes a difference. Like the reason that they're allowed to wear street clothes is because they're innocent until proven guilty.
Right. Well, look at
In
Alex
front of the
Murdaugh.
jury, in front of the judge, But before that, when they're just showing up to these hearings, you generally see them at least shackled.
Right. Well, and I feel like when it really matters is during a trial.
Yeah.
Because then you have a jury present, and I think that's where the perception matters.
Yeah.
Like any hearing that we've seen for, like, say, Richard Allen or even Brian Kohberger. Brian Kohberger's been given the ability to wear a suit to court. Richard Allen has not worn a suit to court, but there's also not been a jury in the courtroom. I feel like that's where it starts to actually matter, because that's where the perception, because our perception of Richard Allen doesn't matter. Our perception of Brian Kohberger technically doesn't matter. It's the 12 people that are going to be seated on that jury whose perception matters. Like with Alec Murdaugh, we saw a long trial of him wearing a suit every day to that trial. And then the second he got found guilty, the very next hearing, which was part of his sentencing, he was the first time we got to see him post trial.
Yeah.
And he came out in prison scrubs.
Yeah.
And it does change your perception of someone.
It totally does.
It's
He
also
looks like a
important.
prisoner.
Our perception is not the thing that matters.
That's right. And that's exactly what it is. To me, it's just not exactly showboating, but it is a show for the jury. This man is innocent until you've heard all the evidence, and we're not going to sit him here and make him look like a prisoner or guilty man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree, Adam. Aspen.
But Brian Kohberger, he's getting to eat vegan food every day too, and by the looks of it, he put on a few.
Did he? I haven't even.
Well, it could also be that, like, vest that they put them in.
Yeah.
I think for Brian Kohberger, isn't it like in the summertime that they want to set a date?
The prosecution did ask for that. Yeah.
Right, and I don't think the defense. I don't think the defense is going to argue it, because the prosecution said they wanted to do it when the schools weren't in session.
Yeah.
So I think they'll probably get a trial date for the summer.
Yeah, we'll see. I was going to say, Shelley, I made a mistake before, because I remember saying in the live recently, well, we haven't had any snow yet, but that's not true, because I did a live where snow came down once.
Liar.
Yeah, I know.
You're conspiring to lie to us.
Pants on fire. Exactly. Apparently, Gray Hughes liked my video because he called me an idiot. We all know what that represents when you get called an idiot by Gray Hughes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys. Anyways, got snow today. Oh, that shimming.
Yeah, we didn't get any. We were supposed to get some possibly last weekend, and we never got any. So
we got a little bit, but the temperatures, like next week, it's going to be minus 35 here Celsius. Like, I don't even think I'm going to go into work.
Oh, is it supposed to be what? Minus 35? Is that with wind chill?
No.
Oh, that's not
or
with
wind. So it'll be probably closer to minus 50 with the wind chill.
Yeah, I remember when it was minus 50 in White Court, this particular one, because my ex-husband's vehicle wouldn't start, and even though it was plugged in and everything, and it was like, he had a city vehicle, I should say county or town or whatever White Court is, and he had that, and it's like you just went outside and everything just froze.
It's brutal.
It's cold, yeah. When it gets to that,
it's going to be 65 degrees here tomorrow.
What is that in Celsius? I don't math.
What does say that again? 65.
65. I don't know. Is that like 20, 25? Celsius.
Hey Siri, what is 65 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
65 degrees Fahrenheit.
18.3
degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's short weather here.
Well, yeah, it's warm even for here this time of year, but we're supposed to get 3 inches of rain tomorrow. So
we're
I
showing
need to move there.
it's 1 degree here. There is snow still left, but the rain mostly took it away. But there still is some snow on the rooftops and whatever. It was actually quite nice because I remember this is what happened. Okay, I decided I didn't want to get out of bed this morning really, but when I decided to, it was I think 11:30, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and I came back, and then I called my husband, and I'm looking at the outside the window, and I'm like, huh, it's snowing. But I know it wasn't snowing when I went to the bathroom. So when I'm sitting there lying there, and it's these the nice flakies coming back on there. But yeah, there's the nice flakies, and I was determining, but once I went to small flakies, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna live stream that.
Those big fat snowflakes. That here, when we get the big fat snowflakes, that's usually because the air is warmer and the snow is a lot heavier and wetter, and it's beautiful. But this stuff, when everything just freezes as it's coming down, it literally looks like it's raining ice. It's brutal. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm. And Charmaine, because we're going to get going here in a sec, guys. And on Saturday, we're going to be doing Picton, the pig farmer. Is what we're going to do for a Saturday show. I think a lot of you guys might probably know that case, right? The pig farmer. And yeah, so that's when we're going to cover on Saturday. So if you guys are bored and want to come see us, I'm not sure what time. I'll have to ask Charmaine what time we're going to do that. Might do it earlier. Yeah. You got no life either?
Absolutely none. No. I've decided I'm becoming a shut-in again. I'm good.
On there. But anyways, yeah. So we're going to do that on Saturday, guys. So I'm not sure what we're doing on Wednesday yet. There's lots of cases. I was watching quite a few different ones. Mm-hmm. And there was this one actually, I think the last name was Vesper. And that one was, it's really a cold case. To be honest with you, that one was very interesting. Now just to quickly talk about
Is this Canadian or US?
US.
Well, send it to me.
Yeah. I sent the link to myself, I believe, in Messenger. But this is basically.
But honey, you and I are not the same person.
We basically are.
Yes, I think so. We're twinsies.
Personality-wise, we're the same.
Angel.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this one here is about basically this husband and this wife. It's wintertime, and the wife and the son are having an argument, and because the son's kind of admitting to just basically being a teen, arguing with mom. Anyways, it turned into the husband and wife having an argument. So he leaves the house to go for a drive and cool off. And so he goes a few minutes up the road to your typical little grocery store thing, your little gas station grocery store thing. And then when he leaves the parking lot, this vehicle and him, obviously there's some sort of interaction or something. And then this vehicle continues to follow him. And so then basically the vehicle that's following him starts flashing its lights like, pull over, dude, pull over. He pulls over. And in that time period, he gets stabbed to death. And and so then he's still alive and manages to drive pretty much to his neighbor's house and then plows into the snow embankment. And then, the daughter ends up finding him, being stabbed and whatever. So it's kind of like at the point that the camera that he's getting stabbed is kind of like there's a house and a tree blocking. So it's like they see this vehicle and they got an idea of what this vehicle, like what the make is. But to this date, they still don't have anyone arrested for his death. But so that's just like, how crazy is that, though, that, that you get into a fight, you just go blow off some steam. He goes and gets cigarettes and a root beer, I think it was, or Dr. Pepper or something like that. And then all of a sudden, in that 20-minute window from arguing with your wife, and then all of a sudden, something totally nothing to do with that, he gets stabbed because of some sort of interaction with this vehicle. Like, did he cut him off? Did he, whatever? And the guy was, raged, right? Obviously of something. But anyways.
Do you remember when that took place?
10 years ago, I think it was.
All right.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good one to look into.
Yeah.
There are so many like compelling cold cases. It's just, I mean, like for me, it's hard to, because when I really go into a case, I fully invest.
Yeah.
And it can be hard to really stretch yourself to the point where you devote the amount of time required to fully invest into a case, at least by my standards. But
yeah.
But
no, I agree. But when
next thing you know, I neglect everything else in my life.
Yeah.
Well, there's also. Oh, sorry, Charmaine. What were you going to say? You were just going to say something.
I was just going to say, like those cold cases, the ones that have some kind of video that you can analyze, like Missy Beavers. You know what I mean? Like those are the more compelling ones for YouTube that you can splice apart and you can actually study what's going on. And I don't think you're going to find anything that law enforcement hasn't found already, but you never know. You never know.
Right.
More eyes on it, right?
Yeah. Well, there was that one too with Nancy Ing, and where
Karen Reed.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the Karen Reed case.
The Karen Reed case, I see a lot of people covering her. Some people covering that one. I actually don't know what that one is about.
You should look into it. I mean, it's a bizarre case.
I was, it's one of those ones that I keep seeing it, and I'm like, okay, what's this Karen Reed case? And then I kind of end up not watching it. Just depends sometimes. Too many people are covering it, I don't know.
Are they?
Well, I keep seeing people covering it. Yeah. But I don't think it's like a ton, but there's definitely people following it. YouTube creators for sure. So anyways, there's many cases out there going on. So whatever. And as for, you can answer that question, Adam. What's up? What's up?
Anne Groom says, ask them kind of what's next up. And
1 second.
I mean,
go ahead, say it.
What's next on Delphi? I don't know. Aliens? I'm just no, I'm kidding. The next thing I'll pay attention to on Delphi, unless something happens before then, but will be on the 18th is going to be the Supreme Court oral arguments to discuss whether Judge Gull will stay the special judge on the case, and whether or not the ex-defense team of Richard Allen, which would be Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin, will remain off the case, or whether they'll be reinstated.
Now,
but again, none of the, that decision will not be made on the 18th. It'll just be the oral arguments that take place. And then presumably it'll be a few weeks after that a decision's handed down.
Mm-hmm. What, Charmaine?
Sorry, Charmaine.
Isn't Mitch Westerman's hearing that same morning?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, Mitch
that
Westerman.
might be of interest.
I mean, I shrug only because his charges are, I think they're appropriate for what happened. But at the end of the day, it's a slap on the wrist. So I'll be interested to see what comes out of that hearing. But I wouldn't be overly surprised if that ends up getting washed out, and which is unfortunate.
Treated like a misdemeanor, like
Well,
it's no big
it is a
deal.
misdemeanor. So
Yeah.
I mean, it has a $250. It was a $250 fine, and it is interesting that he, admitted basically to it in his affidavit, but yet they're still going to have a jury trial.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we're just we'll next be reporting, like I said, for the 18th and whatever. We're totally not getting into the drama of Delphi. It's not worth it. Honestly, I don't want to lower my IQ any more sometimes than it does at certain
And
points with Delphi.
the more people talk about the drama, the more it gets drummed back up and it just won't die. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well,
And everything else is getting lost in all of this noise.
And it's a reoccurring instance in I guess most true crime cases, but when there's a case that has a very dedicated following like Delphi does, we've seen it time and time again, and it's one of the reasons that we throughout the last year especially have gone a long time without even covering Delphi, is because when there's nothing relevant coming out about the case, all that comes out is drama. And so anytime there's a lull in information coming out about the case, the speculation and the drama, the uptick is insane. And I know Sunny doesn't want to be, I don't care to be a part of it. I know Sunny doesn't care to be a part of it. So, we're dedicated to always bring people anything that comes out about the case that's relevant.
Relevant and factual.
But to get into the weeds about he said this channel said this, that's
can't be asked.
I won't be a part of it. So
that's
and
why
I'm not judging, and I'm not even judging channels that do take
we just
part
don't
in it.
care. Do their thing, we do ours. Have a good day.
It's not to me it's not a valuable use of my time.
Yeah. There's so many cases out there to cover. So like I said, when it comes to Delphi, just the factual stuff that happens, obviously when the trial comes about, but just all the factual stuff and paperwork and stuff that come out and stuff like that. Not getting into any of that drama stuff. It's not it honestly, it's just not worth it. It's just boring to me. Honestly, it can't be asked. And me and Adam talked about that again, and it's just like, just whatever. Let the other channels do what they want. We'll do what we want.
If I wanted to lower my IQ, I would just go to all my family reunions. Just kidding.
Wait, what? We need another good live prison break. Yeah, I like those little prison break ones or whatever. I like the ones where it's kind of like you get JLR, I don't know what the hell he's sitting there doing. He keeps doing all these freaking border things. It's like he's living over there or something like that. But I kind of like it when we get to do the ones like Calvaconte and stuff like that, where it's kind of like, because you're going, okay, like he's not in that area, and next thing you know, it's like, you're watching all this and you're always, I don't know. I just find those ones to be exciting to the brain a bit for sure. Covering those.
Are you doing some boots on the ground, Sunny, for our Canadian true crime? Sunny is actually 20 minutes away from the PE Palace, where the PE Palace was.
Yeah, I need to look that up actually. Because I think when I looked it up, I'd only looked it up that time we were talking about it today, and that was that supposedly that pig farm is still there. So I just want to dive into that, because if so, I can go take some footage.
Okay.
Just to see what it looks like.
People don't escape jail in Canada. They would just get caught immediately, and they would say sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. My brother escaped twice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because
I do.
locking the doors would help.
For sure. For sure. And stop giving them day passes for sure.
Right. They're like, oh, you just want to go to Tim Hortons for a stack? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I thought
And
we-
Shelly, we do not say negative things about Taylor Swift in this channel.
I don't identify as a Swiftie, but I have to say some of her songs are just
Yeah, same.
I'm
Mm.
just
hit.
playing.
The hit.
I
The hit.
I actually watched this video where these person, something Shane Carter or whatever, is like, I bought Taylor Swift's mansion. And I'm like, who the fuck needs 4 kitchens? I'm not kidding. Who the hell needs 4 kitchens, a 20,000 square foot? Come back to this planet, people. Who the hell needs 4 kitchens, 15 bathrooms in this house? Taylor, humble it back down a bit.
Well,
nobody
clearly
needs it.
Taylor didn't need it. She sold it.
Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
I could probably buy a bigger one, to be honest with you. But I'm just like, who the frick needs 4 kitchens?
Here, I feel hoity-toity at Christmas time, and I'm telling people, yeah, I have 2 ovens, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I have 4 kitchens.
I got 2 microwaves.
Charmaine's like, one of them is an easy bake. And the other one-
I also have 2 air fryers, just FYI.
But yeah, and I don't think I like her guy that she's with, to be honest with you. I don't.
Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
No, I just, you know what? It just so happened a video popped up in front of my face when he was doing one of those reality shows about who's.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, now
he has a
he's
podcast
different.
with his brother, and they're hard not to like think are adorable. Like
They are beautiful.
because they don't take themselves seriously, and they give each other crap about everything.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well,
and Travis Kelce is just absolutely mind-bogglingly beautiful to look
see
at.
that I think that's the problem right there. Too busy looking at the beauty instead of probably seeing the narcissistic.
Just look at his brother Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just keep your eyes set on Jason Momoa there. Momoa.
Constantly. Never leaves.
Shelly's like, yeah, well, I got 2 freaking cat litter boxes. Bonus. Okay, we're going to end this live stream. It's an hour and 8 minutes long. I'm going to go check out what the husband's doing in a second here. Kind of hungry. Oh, I made great shepherd's pie yesterday. Like it was good. I followed this recipe, but the recipe was kind of bland. Like there was no real spices to it. And my stepdad, I always remember putting thyme and a little bit of seasoning more so to it to give it more of a flavor. Anyways, it was perfect. And I made a ton of mashed potatoes on top of it as well.
Now, do you put corn or peas and carrots?
Both. All. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I want to eat. I haven't eaten.
So my husband was, and honestly, and the garlic bread that I made with the buns came out perfect. Like I like it when they're got that little bit of crispness to it, but it's still soft to eat, not raw, not break your teeth. But anyways, everything was just perfect. So I'm gonna go have me some more shepherd's pie. Husband and I already had some. Yeah, short but fun. Yeah. Anyways,
But funny.
Yeah, short but fun. Okay, that's it. Do you guys have anything else to say before we head out?
No, no. Other than I guess we'll see you. What did you? Oh, what did you hear from?
Yes, Anne.
About when we're doing that other stream.
No, she never got back to me yet.
All right, so we'll see you guys Wednesday night.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So I'll just wait for her to get back. Might be the only time we talk about Delphi besides till the 18th or whatever. But we'll see how that goes. Yummy Sunny. Yes. And yes, no, I have been going for walks. Thank you very much. The only thing that I'm having a hard time with is getting out of the Christmas zone still. I want to still watch Christmas movies, and I still want to kind of go back to the Christmas time when it's all cozy and fireplacey and warm and Christmassy colors and stuff. So I'm having a hard time getting motivated to make videos and stuff like that.
Can you start looking forward to Valentine's Day maybe?
Well,
Is that a thing for you?
The next thing actually on my agenda is Nicola Bully. Her 1 year is coming
27th.
up. Yeah. Her 1 year is coming up on the 27th. That was a very, very sad case. It meant a lot to this channel. So I'm going to put out a few videos, probably do a live on the actual day.
Just thinking about her the other day. Or
Yeah.
yesterday, actually.
You know, very, very sad case. Anytime children lose a parent, regardless. In that case, again, it meant a lot to this channel to cover it. But
right.
yeah,
we can probably we're probably due for just like a little bit of a case update thing, because I know
Adam Walsh and
Anna Walsh had her anniversary this past week. There's not been a ton of new stuff on Rachel Morin, so we could probably fill an hour and a half or 2 hours with just talking about some case updates.
Yeah, stuff that's coming up. I know Chad Dorman is going to trial here, or supposedly, unless he takes a plea deal, but he's the guy that shot his 3 little boys.
I was just going to say, he's the one that shot his 3 little boys, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then didn't he shoot his wife's hand as well?
In Falmouth to get her to drop her son, her 3-year-old little boy.
I heard some of the autopsy results came out about the injuries that the people sustained in the Oklahoma. Remember that house of horror?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Timothy. Yeah.
There's a number of cases that have had updates, but
that case got to me because you let your teenage daughter go for a sleepover for a longtime friend, and not even out of the blue, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Because
someone that should not have been free.
Right. It's just so sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of these cases are sad, to be honest.
And how badly law enforcement, just infuriating. I forgot about that one. Thanks.
Remember they released the house, and then the family came in and found cell phones.
Yeah, and all kinds of other evidence that they didn't take, like locks and keys and shackles and sex toys and stuff. Just unbelievable.
It's like when these small little towns aren't even equipped to deal with those type of things, because for them to see these type of things.
And that's fine, but ask for help or accept the help when it's offered. I don't understand.
Yeah, that one was pretty pathetic.
Oh.
But anyways, we'll do updates on some of these cases coming up here. Maybe we'll do that for Wednesday, perhaps. Do the updates. So Charmaine and Adam, gather some of the cases that you want to update. Yeah.
I hope you join us again. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure, I have no life, and I'll be here whenever you want me to.
I know, and I love your new camera and everything.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to my green screen.
Yeah, right. Okay, Missy. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Charmaine. Thanks, Adam. Thank you guys for watching. Please give the video a like and a share if you don't mind. And hi, Lacey. And hi, Gail. How are you? Dude has balls jumping on the judge light. Yeah. Well, yeah. Too bad those things didn't get crushed as he scoured across that, because he had pulled some of her hair out.
Mm-hmm.
In the scuffle, they had said as well. Anyways, and thanks, Anne, for all your comments throughout the live. Mustang.
Thank you, everyone.
Mustang, I'll see you later. Talk to you later. Anyways, guys, we're just going to end this stream now and take care. I'm trying to find there it is. Outro. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame.